Jeff in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I just wanted to call in. I think you made a really good point there about the process being really what's the issue here. And, I work as a defense attorney, and I just would always hesitate to make a conclusion as a matter of law without having reviewed all of the evidence. In this particular case, it's problematic because there do appear to be a number of witnesses which basically forge their story for the publicity. And now, not that that doesn't discredit the overall narrative, but it just makes it extremely difficult without reviewing the totality of the evidence to really make a legal conclusion.
My point. And the prosecutor's asserting that there are witnesses who came forward who were local members of the community, who were making, and presumably even people of color, who were making assertions that comported with Officer Wilson's narrative rather than Michael Brown's friend's narrative. And, but he's saying they're afraid to come forward, for fear of being attacked by their community or whatever. So now we have, quote, anonymous witnesses. This is kind of Star Chamber stuff.
No, it really is. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's a miscarriage of justice ultimately.
Yeah.
But I think something that people don't understand is just really how low the bar is for a police officer, unfortunately. And it's, a reasonable officer of like training and experience would have felt his life was in jeopardy under the circumstances.
Right.
And that's so distinct from a criminal defendant in a self-defense case.
In other words, it's much harder to prosecute a civilian for shooting somebody than it is to prosecute a police officer. The other way around. It's much harder to prosecute a police officer than it is to prosecute a civilian.
Exactly. If you're a civilian, you have a duty to retreat if you can. There has to be proportionality of the force you use. Whereas for a police officer, all you really need to do is look at it and say, was he justified under the circumstances and feeling threatened? And that's such a high bar to meet, unfortunately.
Right. Very interesting. Jeff, thank you for the call. Thanks for pointing. Before you go, any suggestions of an alternative process? Because that's where I'd like to go with this. I mean, the Michael Brown's family is calling for body cameras on police. I think that's a really important thing, and it's a great first step. But I think the second step we need to do is we need to reform our criminal justice system so that we can hold to account the people who, we can answer the question, who will police the police?
I really think there does need to be something. The only problem with the cameras, as you well know, in Albuquerque, we have a little bit of a police problem ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to somehow malfunction in a lot of the most, let's say, gray areas.
Yeah.
So although I like them, unfortunately, we still have a lot of cases where somehow a piece of it is missing, and they claim it was a mistake, but I guess you never really know. Right.
Yeah, and that's we've seen that with dash cams all over the country. Occasionally one will slip through where obviously the police officer didn't realize that it was playing as they were beating the crap out of that person in front of them or whatever. But those are few and far between. I think they get sanitized very quickly. Jeff, thank you for the call.